Did you know that studies show people form an opinion about you in the first 7 seconds of meeting you? 7 seconds! That's barely enough time to say hello. But in those precious seconds, people are already sizing you up, making judgments about your trustworthiness, your competence, and even your likability. That's right, in the blink of an eye, you're sending out signals that can either draw people to you or make them want to run for the hills. And here's the kicker. You might not even be aware of the messages you're sending. So, today we're diving deep into the behaviors that can sabotage your relationships and leave you wondering what went wrong. Because let's face it, none of us want to be that person, the one nobody wants to be around.
Navigating the social world is a lot like walking a tightrope. On one hand, you want to be your authentic self, but you also don't want to send people running for cover. It's a delicate dance, and unfortunately, there are some missteps that can send you tumbling down into the abyss of people to avoid. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who just rubbed you the wrong way, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why? Maybe they were perfectly nice, but something about their demeanor just screamed, steer clear. What you were picking up on were subtle cues, unconscious behaviors that sent a message loud and clear. I'm not someone you want in your life. The good news is, once you're aware of these behaviors, you can start to change them. Look, we're all works in progress, and none of us are perfect. But by understanding the things we might be doing to push people away, we can start to build stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationships. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down 7 common habits that can make people dislike you instantly.
Let's be honest, nobody likes being cut off mid-sentence. Interrupting someone is like saying, "What I have to say is more important than what you're saying." It's disrespectful, it's rude, and it sends the message that you're not really interested in what the other person has to say. Think about it. You're sharing a story at a party, and just as you're getting to the good part, someone jumps in and hijacks the conversation. How does that make you feel? Probably not too great. Now, I get it. Sometimes you're just so excited to share your own thoughts that you can't help but blurt them out. Or maybe you think you're being helpful by chiming in with your own 2 cents. But here's the thing. Even if your intentions are good, interrupting someone can still damage the relationship. It creates a sense of competition and makes the other person feel like they're not being heard. So, the next time you're tempted to jump in and interrupt, take a breath, bite your tongue, and really listen to what the other person has to say. You might be surprised by what you learn.
Look, I get it. Life can be tough. But that doesn't mean you have to walk around like a rain cloud, bringing everyone down with your negativity. People who are constantly complaining, gossiping, or focusing on the negative are exhausting to be around. Think about the Eeyores of the world. You know, the ones who always find the cloud in every silver lining. They're the first to point out what's wrong, and they can suck the joy out of any room. Now, I'm not saying you have to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. We're all human, and we're all entitled to have a bad day now and then. But if you're constantly dwelling on the negative, it's going to start to wear on the people around you. People are naturally drawn to positive energy. When you're positive, you radiate a sense of warmth and optimism that draws people in. On the other hand, when you're negative, you create a wall of negativity that pushes people away. So how do you ditch the negativity and embrace a more positive outlook? Start by focusing on the good in your life. Practice gratitude, surround yourself with positive people, and make a conscious effort to look for the silver lining in every situation.
Chapter 4. Are you even listening? You know that saying, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason? Well, it's true. One of the biggest mistakes people make in social situations is not listening. They're so busy thinking about what they're going to say next that they don't really hear a word the other person is saying. Think about it. Have you ever been talking to someone and you can just tell they're not really listening? Maybe their eyes are glazing over, or they're constantly interrupting you. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Here's the thing. Being a good listener is about more than just hearing the words someone is saying. It's about being present, engaged, and genuinely interested in what they have to say. It's about making eye contact, asking clarifying questions, and showing that you're really trying to understand their perspective. When you truly listen to someone, You make them feel heard, seen, and valued. You create a deeper connection, and you build trust. On the other hand, when you don't listen, you send the message that you don't care about what the other person has to say, and that's a surefire way to push them away.
Chapter 5. It's not all about you. Listen, the world doesn't revolve around you. Shocking, right? But seriously, one of the quickest ways to make people dislike you is to be self-centered. You know the type. They dominate conversations, make everything about them, and have zero interest in anyone else's life. Think about the friend who only calls when they need something, or the coworker who takes credit for everyone else's work. These are classic examples of self-centered behavior, and it's a major turnoff. Nobody wants to be friends with someone who only cares about themselves. Relationships are a two-way street, and they require give and take. If you're always on the receiving end, people are going to start to feel used and resentful. So how do you break free from this self-centered cycle? Start by practicing empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes and try to see things from their perspective. Ask questions, show genuine interest in their lives, and celebrate their successes.
Chapter 6. Gossip is toxic. Let's be honest, we all love a little juicy gossip now and then. But there's a big difference between harmless chit-chat and malicious gossip. When you spread rumors, talk behind people's backs, or revel in other people's misfortunes, you're not just being mean, you're being toxic. Think about it. How would you feel if you found out someone was spreading rumors about you? You'd probably feel betrayed, hurt, and angry, and you'd probably think twice about trusting that person again. Gossip creates a culture of distrust and negativity. It breeds insecurity and undermines relationships. Plus, it makes you look bad. When you're constantly gossiping, people start to wonder what you're saying about them behind their backs. So how do you break the gossip habit? Start by catching yourself. The next time you're tempted to say something negative about someone, ask yourself, would I say this to their face? If the answer is no, then don't say it.
Chapter 7. Be someone people can count on. Look, life is full of flaky people. You know the type. They cancel plans at the last minute, they forget to return your calls, and they're always late. These people are the epitome of unreliable, and they're the kind of people you don't want in your life. Think about it. You're counting on someone to pick you up from the airport, and they leave you stranded. Or you're working on a group project and someone flakes out on their responsibilities. It's frustrating, it's inconsiderate, and it sends the message that you're not important. Being reliable means following through on your commitments, being there for people when they need you, and being someone people can count on. It's about showing up, both physically and emotionally, and proving that you're someone people can trust. So how do you become more reliable? Start by being realistic about your commitments. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if something comes up, communicate it clearly and promptly.
Chapter 8. Self-centeredness, the silent relationship killer. Of all the habits we've discussed today, self-centeredness is perhaps the most insidious. It's like a slow-growing vine that can choke the life out of your relationships without you even realizing it. Think about it. When you're so wrapped up in your own world, your own needs and your own desires, you stop seeing the people around you. You take them for granted, you dismiss their feelings, and you make them feel invisible. Now, I'm not saying you have to become a martyr or sacrifice your own needs for everyone else's, but I am saying that relationships require balance. They require give and take, empathy and compassion. When you make a conscious effort to shift your focus from me to we, you open yourself up to a whole new level of connection. You build trust, you foster intimacy, and you create a space where both people feel seen, heard, and valued.
So there you have it. 7 habits that can make people dislike you instantly. Now, before you start pointing fingers, remember, we're all guilty of these behaviors from time to time. None of us are perfect, and we all have room for improvement. The key is to be self-aware. Pay attention to how you're interacting with others. Are you interrupting? Are you being negative? Are you truly listening? By becoming more aware of our own behaviors, we can start to make positive changes that will improve our relationships and enrich our lives.